Alright, so this is a build we're doing for a customer. So the frame is the Marin Alpine Trail XR 20/25, and we're going to match it with the new Rockshox Boxer Ultimate. So to start, I'm just going to remove the shocks since we're changing the spring. With the shock removed, I will now remove the lower pivot to make it easier to route the cables. And then I will route a shift cable through the frame first. This will make it a lot easier to route the brake cable. Then I will snip off the end with the cable cutters, and then I will feed the shifter cable into the brake housing. As you see, it will lose some oil, but it makes it a lot easier to feed the cable through the frame. I will repeat this procedure for the shift cable housing as well. Here I'm just cutting the shift cable housing to length. And then feeding it into the frame with the shift cable inside of it. And then we'll feed both cables through this hole into the front triangle. And then I will reinstall the lower pivot, making sure to have the spacers oriented correctly. And then I will tighten the bolt to spec. Now I will release the banjo coupling to make the angle right for the frame and the rear brake caliper. And then tighten back up the banjo coupling. And then I will remove these two rubber things on both sides, so I can route the dropper cable through. And then I will install the new spring, so it's a lighter spring and it's the nice glossy red finish that will match the fork. Then I will mount the shock back into the frame. Then I will grease up the steer tube and the lower crown race. And then I will install the bottom bearing for the headset. And I will grease up the headset cups as well. And then I will install both of the crowns and the headset. And then I will install the top cap. Now I will install the fork into the crowns. And make sure to install the rubber stoppers onto the forks as well. Now we'll cut the renthal carbon bars to the right width. Now we'll install the stem onto the upper crown. Now installing the top part of the stem and the bars together. Now we'll install the brake lever and the shift lever, and then followed by the other brake lever and the dropper post lever. Now we'll install the rear brake hose. And then install the front brake caliper. Now we'll install the derailleur. This is the Sram GX 7-speed DH derailleur, since we're going for a DH style build with this Alpine trail. Now we'll feed the shift cable through the shift cable housing. And then install the shift cable into the derailleur. Now I will put the tires on and seat them onto the rims. And now we'll install the brake rotors and the cassette. Now I will install both wheels. Here you can see the Alpine Trail's little frame storage that comes very handy when you're out on the trail and you need some tools, for example. You can store them inside the frame. And here I will put the bike down on the ground so I can work on the dropper post. So I will first feed the dropper post cable housing down through the bottom bracket and then up through the seat tube. Here it can be a little bit tight, so I will use my pliers to help drag it up. And then I will install the dropper post cable and then install the dropper post itself. And then feed the housing through it up through the frame again. And now we will put the bike back up on the stand. Now we'll install the bottom bracket. Followed by the crankset. So this is a very short acid crankset. It's 155 millimeters long. And then I will install the chain. Now with the chain installed, I will check the shifting. And that's the build done. So I think it turned out very good. I think it's very clean with the matching fork and spring, and the glossy red finish is very nice. And then I think it matches very well with the silver frame. One thing I don't love is the little beige part on the renthal stem and bars. I think it would look a little bit better with just being all black. But all in all, I think it's a great build.